Padho bhai. This is a statement made by no less a person than the Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud. The Chief Justice was responding to a petition which pleaded for a reduction in the pass marks in the AIBE examination. The Bar Council of India conducts the All India Bar Examination to award certificate of practice for candidates to practice law in Indian courts. The AIBE cutoff 2024 was general category at 45% and 40% for SC, ST and PWD candidates. Justice Chandrachud said they have put a cutoff of 45 for the general category and 40 for SC, ST. What kind of lawyer will the person be if they cannot score this much? You are asking it to lower to be at 40 and 35? Padho bhai. He was speaking on behalf of all of us. The lowering of standards, qualifying marks and pass marks in entrance exams across India is not just a trend, it's now becoming a crisis. With high fees leading to unfilled seats, the solution has been to dilute the benchmarks, affecting the quality of future doctors, lawyers, professionals and engineers. Let me explain through some data. Now let us start the examination of data with national law universities in India, right? A 2022 circular by the Consortium of National Law Universities decided to call by invitation to approximately 5 times the number of seats in each category. What it means is that they have removed the minimum standards and replaced it with at least 5 candidates for each seat that's available. And by not fixing the minimum marks, they actually enabled a poor quality student to get in. In 2023, a student who got 40,000 rank, which essentially meant that he would have got about 10% marks because he would have got 15 to 17 marks out of a possible 150, could also sneak in through the NRI quota and become a lawyer in this country, because the NLU cutoff in 2023 for one of the NLU seats was a rank of 40,000, which meant 17 marks out of 150. Now let us take it to the next examination, which is the NEET examination, and I'm talking of the undergrad NEET examination at this point. In 2020, the total seats available was about 93,470, and the total students who appeared for the exam was 13.66 lakh students, right? But still, when the qualifying mark was 147 out of 720, which essentially meant that we're talking of about 21%, 20.4%. The dental seats in the country were still not filled in. So what did the Dental Council of India do? They reduced the qualifying mark from what was 147 to 113, 113. And doesn't stop there in 2020. In 2021, the total number of seats again were about 1 lakh, close to 1 lakh, and about 15.45 lakh students actually appeared for the examination. But the Ayush Council, which actually helps in filling up all the Ayurvedic, Unani and homeopathy seats in the country, they decided to reduce the cutoff from what was 19.2% earlier to 17%. They reduced the cutoff from 138 of a possible 720 to 122 out of a possible 720, reducing the quality of students so that the seats can get filled in. So after NEET UG, let us look at NEET PG. In 2023, the total number of students who appeared for NEET PG was about 2,517, 200,517. And the total seats were about 47,500 plus. The total marks for which the NEET PG examination held in 2023 was for 800 marks. In 2021, the qualification marks were reduced from 302, which is about 38% of the total marks, to 247. And look, by the way, carefully look at the falling standards of NEET PG in this country. In 2022, the qualifying marks were reduced from 247 at a minimum level to 201. In 2023, they actually almost killed the examination because they brought it down to 0, which meant that you just need to appear for the examination and you actually are in. Of course, they started with 291, but as the rounds of counseling progressed, the 291 kept going down and down and down, and it became 0. So today, the NEET PG, the students who are actually pursuing MD in various colleges, there is a possibility that some of them have actually got 0 and still are doctors who are treating you. So now that we understood NEET UG and PG, let us understand NEET super speciality. Now, NEET super speciality is essentially an examination conducted by National Board of Examinations for Doctorate of Medicine. The total seats is about 4,200 plus, and the total applications is about 20,000, close to 20,000. And in 2023, in the round 1 qualification, it was 50 percentile. They could not fill in the seats. By the end of round 2, they brought down the percentile to 20 percentile. So the 50 was brought down to 20 percentile. They still could not fill in their seats. So what do? It's not that they can't let the seats go. So they brought down the in the special round, they actually had one more round called the special round, where the qualification score was brought down to 0 percentile. 0 percentile. So that's what it means, that to fill in the seats, they keep reducing the quality to a certain level where it has hit the bottom and it couldn't go further down. At 0 percentile, you can actually do NEET super speciality. Let us go to another examination again in medical domain, which is NEET MDS. Now this examination is conducted by National Board of Examination for Medical Sciences. In this exam, the total score possible was 960. There were about 24,000 students for a total number of 7,000 seats. Right. In 2021, the qualification score was 259 on 960, which was reduced to 185 by the time the seats were getting filled in, because the seats were not filled in. So they brought down the qualification score from what was 259 to 185, which is a percentile from 27% to 19.3%. In 2022, 1 year later, that qualification of 185 minimum over a period of time was brought down to 174. And in 2023, that qualification came down to 168, which is just 17.5 marks out of the possible 960. So you see, in each of these medical professions, the qualification marks have been reduced with every passing round so that they can actually fill in the seats. Because even though you actually have a lot of applications in NEET, you have 1:14, 1:15 kind of a thing to 1:7 for NEET PG and so on and so forth. You actually see that the seats are not getting filled in. So the only option that these guys are exercising is actually to keep reducing the quality, keep reducing the qualification marks, and ensure that all the seats get filled in. By the way, this falling qualification marks is not just limited to law or medical. I remember in 2018, the then HRD ministry actually ordered the Joint Admission Board of IITs to reduce the qualification marks so that they at least have the order clearly read that there should be at least a list of candidates twice the number of seats in each discipline and category. Which means if you actually have 10,000 seats, then at least 20,000 students must be qualified to sit in the counseling at JOSA level. So if you have 2,000 for SC category, there should be at least 4,000 students who qualify to be there. So what did the Joint Admission Board do? They reduced the qualifying marks from what was 35% minimum to 25% minimum. They brought it down by 10% straight away. And because of that, about 13,842 students qualified to be in the merit list to sit in the JOSA counseling. As a country, we've always grown up in a system where at a school level, you reduce the qualifying marks, add grace marks, reduce the pass marks so that the student doesn't fail and goes through the next class. But this seems to be a pandemic that's caught on with the entrance examinations also. I've shown you how at a All India Bar examination, they wanted to lower the score so that most students qualify. It went on to NEET, where I showed you at every single examination, they reduced the score, the qualifying marks, so that all the seats get filled in. And they reduced the score to such a level that at zero score, you could actually become an MD in this country. And it also moved to engineering, where you brought down the qualification mark to 25%, then 35% earlier, so that most students become a part of the pool which will, go through the counseling. But this pandemic seems to be spreading across the country. Lowering the bar in entrance exams may seem like a quick fix for unfilled seats, but the long-term consequences are dire. We are compromising the quality of professionals who shape our society. It's time that we take a stand and call for a re-evaluation of entrance exams and minimum standards. Let's rise above mediocrity, ensure accessibility without sacrificing quality, and strive for true excellence in our education system. Our future depends on it. Thank you. Namaskar.